So, picture this: my husband, the man I'd spent 10 years building a life with, thought he could get away with taking his mistress on a lavish, all expenses, paid vacation to a 5-star resort in Bora Bora. He thought he was slick, that I'd never find out, or if I did, I'd just roll over and cry. Well, he thought wrong. Instead, I made him pay for every single penny of that trip, and then I went on it alone. Was I wrong for what I did? Honestly, I don't think so. Tell me, would you have done the same thing if you were in my shoes? Let's go back a bit, to the beginning, before my life became some twisted rom-com revenge fantasy. My husband, Mark, and I had been together since college. We were that couple, you know. The ones everyone thought would last forever. We had a comfortable life, a beautiful home, and 2 adorable golden retrievers. We'd always talked about taking a dream vacation, something epic, after we hit our 10-year anniversary. Bora Bora was our dream destination. We had a joint savings account specifically for this trip, squirreling away money for years. Every time we'd put money in, we'd talk about the overwater bungalows, the crystal, clear turquoise water, the feeling of finally unwinding in paradise. It was our future, our shared escape. Mark had always been a bit secretive with his phone, but I'd always brushed it off as him being private, or maybe just a little too addicted to gaming. I trusted him, perhaps foolishly. I believed in our vows, in the decade of memories we'd built. Looking back, there were subtle signs, little cracks in the facade I chose to ignore. Late nights at the office, sudden business trips that seemed to pop up out of nowhere, and a general emotional distance that had crept in over the last year. But I was busy, focused on my own career, and honestly, a little complacent. I figured every long-term relationship had its ups and downs. I thought we were just in a down phase. The big reveal, the moment my perfect little world shattered, came in the most mundane way possible: a rogue email. Mark had left his laptop open on the kitchen counter, which he rarely did. I was just tidying up, and a notification popped up on the screen. It was from a travel agency, addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Davies. Our last name. My heart did a little flutter, thinking maybe he was surprising me with details for our anniversary trip. But then I saw the subject line. Your romantic getaway to Bora Bora is confirmed. And underneath, a photo of an absolutely stunning overwater bungalow, exactly like the ones we dreamed of. A wave of excitement, tinged with confusion, washed over me. He hadn't said a word about booking it. I clicked on the email, a smile on my face, eager to see the dates. And that's when I saw it. The names on the reservation: Mark Davies and Jessica Harper. Jessica Harper. The name hit me like a physical blow. It was the name of his new assistant, a woman he'd hired 6 months prior. A woman I'd met, who seemed perfectly sweet and innocent, if a little too eager to laugh at all of Mark's mediocre jokes. My smile dissolved. My blood ran cold. My hands started to tremble as I scrolled down, looking at the itinerary. 7 nights in the most luxurious suite, private transfers, excursions, even a couple's massage package. All paid for from our joint savings account, the one we'd been saving for our trip. The anger, the betrayal, the sheer audacity of it all. It was an inferno. I felt like I was going to throw up. I closed the laptop, my mind reeling. I couldn't confront him immediately. I needed to think, to plan. I needed to breathe. That night, I pretended everything was normal. I cooked dinner, we watched TV, we went to bed. Every touch from him felt like a lie, every word a deception. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, tears silently streaming down my face, formulating a plan. I spent the next few days meticulously gathering evidence. I checked our bank statements, and there it was, a huge withdrawal. Earmarked, travel expenses. I found texts on his old phone. He'd foolishly kept it in a drawer, between him and Jessica, flirty and intimate. Talking about their upcoming paradise escape. I even found a photo of them together, canoodling on what looked like a beach in a test shot for their trip. The proof was undeniable, sickeningly clear. The trip was set for 3 weeks from then. That gave me time. I contacted the travel agency, pretending to be Mark, citing a family emergency that prevented Mrs. Davies from going. I explained that I needed to change the name on the second ticket to myself. I made it sound like a last-minute change of plans, very apologetic. The agent, bless her heart, was incredibly understanding and, after a quick verification process, updated the reservation. I then discreetly started packing my own bags, stashing them at a friend's house, along with my passport and some cash. I kept everything low-key, normal, like I was just going to the gym or running errands. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. I had all the evidence, the changed tickets, my bags packed. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have confronted him, created a scene, or done what I did and enacted your own quiet, devastating revenge? The day before their scheduled departure, Mark was practically buzzing with excitement. He kept dropping hints about a big presentation he had to give out of town, a last-minute business trip that was just unavoidable. He even bought me a small, generic gift, probably as a guilt offering. I played along, acting sad that he had to go, wishing him well. That evening, I calmly served him dinner, our favorite meal. After he'd finished, and was feeling content, I laid everything out on the table. Not literally, but emotionally. I started by asking him about his business trip. He launched into a flimsy explanation, eyes darting, a nervous smile on his face. When he finished, I just looked at him, my expression unreadable. Then I said, very quietly, "So, your business trip to Bora Bora with Jessica Harper. The one you paid for with our joint savings account, that one." His face drained of color. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. His jaw hung open. He stammered. Tried to deny it, but I just held up my phone, showing him the email, the bank statement, the texts, the damning photo. "Don't bother, Mark," I said, my voice steel. "It's all here." Every single lie. He collapsed onto the couch, head in his hands. He started begging, pleading, crying, promising he'd end it with Jessica. That it was a mistake, that he loved me. The usual cheating husband script. But I was beyond hearing it. My heart was a block of ice. "Here's what's going to happen," I told him, cutting him off mid-sob. "You are still going to pay for that trip. Every single dollar. Not out of our joint account anymore, but from your personal one. And I'm going?" He looked up, confused, tear-streaked eyes widening. You're going where?" "Bora Bora, Mark," I said, a faint, chilling smile touching my lips. "On the vacation you booked for your mistress. Only, she won't be joining me. You see, I already changed the name on the reservation." He tried to argue, to protest, to say it wasn't fair. "Fair?" I scoffed. "Fair was you honoring your vows. Fair was you being honest. Fair was you not spending our money on another woman. Now, here are your options. You pay for it, I go, and we consider this repayment. Or, I expose everything to your family, your colleagues, and Jessica's husband, who I'm sure would be very interested to know what his wife has been up to. And then I divorce you and take half of everything, including your prized vintage car." The look on his face was priceless. Pure, unadulterated terror. He knew I wasn't bluffing. He knew I had him cornered. The next day, I woke up, packed my last few items, and called a cab. Mark was a pathetic mess, trying one last time to appeal to my softer side. "Please, don't do this. Think of us, think of our future. Our future ended when you booked that flight with Jessica," I said, shutting the door behind me. I flew first class, enjoying every moment. The champagne tasted sweeter knowing he was footing the bill. When I arrived in Bora Bora, the resort was everything we'd dreamed of. The overwater bungalow was breathtaking. The water truly was that perfect shade of turquoise. Every time a waiter brought me a cocktail, or I indulged in a spa treatment, or went snorkeling, I pictured Mark seething at home, knowing I was living his ill-gotten fantasy. I posted strategically on social media, just enough to be seen by our mutual friends, tagging the resort, posing in front of the bungalows, making sure the caption alluded to a much-needed escape. I didn't mention Mark, or any specifics, just enough to make people wonder. The comments started rolling in. "Wow, looks amazing! Where's Mark? So jealous, have fun!" I knew the gossip mill would be working overtime. While I was in paradise, Mark was spiraling. He called me incessantly, his messages alternating between desperate apologies and angry accusations. I blocked him. I didn't want my revenge to be tainted by his pathetic pleas. I wanted to experience pure, unadulterated bliss, paid for by his infidelity. The trip was transformative. It wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming my peace, my power, and rediscovering myself. I journaled, I meditated, I explored. I realized how much of my identity I had tied up in, and how much I'd neglected myself. I came back a different woman. When I returned, Mark was waiting at the house, looking gaunt and defeated. He tried to talk, to explain, to apologize again. I just walked past him, went straight to our bedroom, and started packing my things. "This isn't working, Mark," I told him, my voice calm but firm. "I'm moving out. I'm filing for divorce." He was shocked. He thought my going on the trip was the extent of my revenge, that it meant I was staying. He was wrong. But I paid for your trip," he stammered, as if that negated his actions. "Exactly," I said, zipping up my suitcase. "You paid for my freedom." The divorce was messy, as most divorces are. He fought me on some things, but in the end, with the evidence I had, he caved. Jessica, by the way, was fired from his company shortly after. Her husband found out about the affair through a concerned anonymous caller. Not me, of course, but karma has a way of working things out. Last I heard, she's single and unemployed. Mark is still living in the house, a shadow of his former self, drowning in regret. As for me, I'm thriving. I moved into a beautiful new apartment, started focusing more on my career, and even picked up some new hobbies. I'm dating again, and I've learned invaluable lessons about trust, self-worth, and the importance of never letting anyone diminish your light. The Bora Bora trip wasn't just a vacation. It was my farewell to a dishonest past and my welcome to a bright, honest future. So, that's my story. It was a hell of a ride, filled with anger, betrayal, and ultimately liberation. I guess the moral of my story is that sometimes the best revenge isn't loud and dramatic. It's quiet, strategic, and utterly satisfying. And sometimes, you just have to take that dream vacation, even if you have to force your cheating husband to pay for it. Like this video if you were on my side. If you think I did exactly what needed to be done. Subscribe for more stories like this, where people get what's coming to them. And please, share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section. Tell me, would you have done the same, or taken a different path? I'll see you all in the next story.